Monday Night Wars podcast.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It's another edition of the Monday Night Wars. It's October 27th, 1997, and we were at the Cox Arena.
I don't get it.
It's because it's in San Diego.
Oh,
Yeah. San Diego, California. That must be Cox Communications, the internet company. They sucked. Anyways,
my boy lived in San Diego for a while, so
yeah,
he's
got
a real grudge here.
Yeah, it's the local, and they suck. Don't sue us. If you're even still around, you've probably been bought by Spectrum or somebody at this point. But anyways,
I know you just
didn't like it.
We just had a sponsored drop because of that comment.
Oh, wow. When I was a kid and growing up, we had Jones. Did you have Jones where you lived? Jones Intercable.
I was
It
poor.
sucked.
I think we had AT&T. I think.
Okay.
So I remember the AOL thing for a minute, but like we were poor. We were behind the eight ball on everything.
Well, it's just, it's weird how everything is so corporate nowadays, but back then you just had some local friggin' fly-by-night cable operator like Jones, and it was like they were just local, just some dudes. And I remember you say you were poor. We weren't poor, but we acted like we were poor because my parents didn't like to spend money. And I remember I still remember the day my mom called Jones to get me Nickelodeon. That was a big deal. Because you used to have to call and I want to add a station.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to do that kind of a la carte, which would be nice if you could still do it to this day.
Oh God, wouldn't that be great?
Because I want YouTube TV, but I don't want to pay $100 for 50 channels I don't watch. Just give me the 8 I want to watch, and we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember she had to call and get Nickelodeon unblocked on our TV, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal. And then it rotted my brain, and I'm who you have today.
Our parents called for the Disney Channel, and because that was more wholesome. Yeah. Grew up in a very conservative home, and they called, and then they found out the price factor and went, "No, you kids aren't getting the Disney Channel."
So there you go.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
It wasn't until much later that we got Dish Network, because my father, who was a window cleaner, one of the places that he did was actually a Dish Network place. They just the people, the salespeople and everything, and so they cut him a really good deal. So I think they still have Dish Network, and they still have it for dog shit cheap in comparison. And Matthew convinced him to get it because he said, "Working with you, I'll pay for it," because we always worked with our dad. And then he never obviously did that ever. Which that's not a knock on Matthew. He was a kid. What the fuck was he gonna do?
Yeah. And it was a good negotiating tactic because it worked. So, no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul.
Absolutely.
But speaking of rotting our brains, we got some Nitro. We're back from Halloween Havoc, which, now I remember. I was telling Joseph before this that I do not remember Halloween Havoc, and now I remember why I don't remember Halloween Havoc, because I've blocked the Piper Hogan match out of my mind. But we get to watch it again because WCW likes to just basically show you what you just paid a bunch of money for again on a regular Monday night. So you get the climax
on a 3-hour Monday night.
Boy howdy. So you get to relive that terrible match. And then to make matters worse, we get Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff out to start the show. We hype Assault on Devil's Island, which is going to have its TNT premiere tomorrow night. And I am going to give my review of that on our Patreon. Because I feel like I should, right?
So you're going to do it for what? How are you going to do it? You're just going to record a little review?
The next No, like the next pay-per-view, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, I could talk about it right here.
It's a ways away is all I'm saying. The
I
crowd
could talk about
is
it.
growing in
Sucks.
anticipation.
It sucks. It is the weirdest movie. It starts with him like having Vietnam flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The whole premise of the movie is that he was in the Gulf War. I think it was the Gulf War. And they were like hunting down a British guy who was gassing the Iraqi Kurds. Like, I guess a British guy sold them the gas, even though I think we sold them the gas, but, we don't talk about that. There was a time when we thought, hey, Iran is worse than Iraq. Let's be friends. And it didn't work out. As history later
Isn't that
revealed.
literally like Charlie Wilson's War? Isn't that whole movie is about that?
That's Afghanistan, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Potato.
Enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend until they use our
Until they're my
weapons
enemy?
against
Yeah.
innocent people. Until they use them against the innocent Kurds. Yeah, so that's like that's the theme of the movie, is that this British guy, I guess, sold the gas or used it or something, and Hogan's team all got killed except for him. He has these flashbacks. That's how we start the movie. And then we go into this mission that is completely unrelated to any of that. They save they're saving some dude's kidnapped daughter. It has no bearing on the plot. We never revisit it. That's just there to show you that these guys are the real deal, which you could have just done with some dialogue, but we're not going to do that. Then he just sees paperwork. It's completely unrelated, because then they come back after the mission. He sees some paperwork and Hogan's like, oh, bro, I think this is the guy that did that thing that I'm having flashbacks about. And they're like, nah, it's not the guy. He's dead. And then they go to a computer guy and he goes, my computer says it might be the guy.
Whoa.
And then Hogan goes off on it. Yeah.
It's the swerve, bro.
It is. It is. And then Hogan goes alone. And then he almost dies, and Carl Weathers and team show up to save him, and teamwork, and they beat him, and it's awful. It is so bad.
Which is sad because we love Carl Weathers.
Yes. Well, Carl's good in it. I mean, Carl works the hell out of it,
Yeah. That's like, have you ever noticed that like Anthony Hopkins is in some of the worst movies ever made, but Anthony Hopkins is never bad in any of those movies?
Always.
Yeah, he's
always.
Great. He's great every time.
It's kind of like Denzel. Like Denzel might be in a bad movie, but I'll go, but Denzel was good though. Like that happens, man, every time.
What movie has Denzel been in that's been bad?
See, I was trying to think of one and I couldn't.
Yeah.
That's it though.
Maybe like an early one, like before he was Denzel,
He was in this recent movie called Roman P. Israel or something like that.
Okay.
Which you probably haven't even seen.
No.
It's not great. I thought it was going to be good, and it wasn't great, but Denzel was good in it.
He Denzel.
Yeah, but anyways, like they inject Hogan with some serum, and he's going to like die in 24 hours, and it turns into like Jason Statham Cranked movie or something, and it's nuts. It's terrible. Don't watch it. F. F. F.
Interesting.
Assault on Devil's Island. A TNT special. Because it was so bad, TNT had to help.
I love this because I think something happens tonight. Let me check my notes real quick. I'm pretty sure it's tonight.
Okay.
Where is the... Maybe it already happened. That's Sabisco. That's DDP. At some point, they announced, it might have been last week. I can't remember, dude. This is how riveting these episodes have been.
Yes. Yes.
At some point, they announced that the Sting contract signing with Hogan would take place during the taping or during the release of Assault on Devil's Island, which I love that.
Yes, they do.
I love that. I don't remember when they do it, but they say that that's a big thing. So during the commercials, you go back to the conference, and they spaced it out through all the commercials because they knew dog shit film. And my favorite thing is it actually is a monstrous success of a movie. It is. It truly is. If you look it up, it is a smash hit. Critically not, but from a what's the word? Not box office, but from a public standpoint, it's a smash hit because
ratings, people watched.
Yeah, ratings. Thank you. 4.2 on the Nielsen ratings. It was a huge movie. It's one of the top 5. They'll say it next week. One of the top 5 straight to cable movies ever made, which is true. And they attribute it to, and they will say it and they genuinely believe it. They attribute it to Hulk Hogan's star power. And Bischoff actually has, in retrospect, said how much he hates that he had to play ball with the network and do the contract signing with the movie instead of on Nitro when he wanted to do it on Nitro to help the Nitro ratings. But he did it for the movie because he's playing ball. They wanted it. Okay, we'll do it. Bischoff, you ignorant slut. The reason they did that is because they knew the movie was going to fail. And at least it forced people to watch the movie so they could see the contract signing. That is the only reason the movie's a success. And next week, because the movie is a success, and the reason we're kind of talking about this because it's on a Tuesday. So it's like, when is the through line to talk about it? We don't really have one. But they will talk about next week what a success it was. And Bischoff will talk about how great this is and blah, blah, blah. And it's not in character because Bischoff's ego right now is like Paul McCartney's without doing any of the work for it. That's a deep cut because I went to go see Paul McCartney last night. It was great, but man, the guy's got an ego.
Wow. Absolutely. But I will say, the movie is insane because it's so bad. It's dealing with this super serious topic of, an attempted genocide against the Kurdish people. And then it just it has the weirdest music that's completely out of place. It's 80s, kind of upbeat, acts it feels like music from Beverly Hills Cop. It's
I was actually doing I was doing Magnum PI.
I mean, that's good too. But Hogan has a full head of hair, Shannon Tweed looking good, Carl Weathers doing what he got to do.
Shannon Tweed looking good. Understatement of the year.
Yeah, she looking good in it. Yeah. They know. I'll put it this way: they know why she's in the movie.
Yes. To be fair, in her defense, she is trying to become a serious actress at this point. I say serious; it's not really fair. If you don't know who Shannon Tweed is, because I think we got to kind of give the audience. This is decades ago. Shannon Tweed now is kind of most famous for being the wife of Gene Simmons from Kiss. At the time, she was famous for being in softcore pornography and Playboy. She's a playmate multiple times, or playmate of the year multiple times. Very, very famous. And this is her, she did a few movies where she's trying to break into the industry of Hollywood. And her and Gene Simmons, I think they're even together at this point because they were together for a long time before they got married. I remember because his reality TV show was hot in my house for a while. I don't know why, but it was.
Yeah. So it was huge. It was a huge show.
But anyway, so she is legitimately famous adjacent, and she's trying. So I'll give her that.
He's not bad in it. I mean, it's a bad
movie. The voiceover
work
is horrible though.
Yeah, it's bad. Like I said, it starts off with this Vietnam flashback thing about his raid on this British guy with the poison gas that they sold to the they sold the Iraqis to use against the Kurds. Terrible real life topic, just done in such a dumb, unserious way. They go it's a lot of Shannon Tweed's got boobs and Hogan's the macho man. There's just a scene where he's just firing the machine gun. I think they actually show it in this in this episode where he's just machine gunning for 20 minutes and people are just flying everywhere. I'm like, how has he not been hit? And it's
how has he not been hit? And how is that clip not emptied? Because it's not an extended barrel.
And like I said, we have the Kurd thing, and then we have a completely unrelated mission. Then we go back to the Kurd thing, and then we add the fact that now he's been poisoned. He's got 24 hours to live, so he's got to find the cure or kill the guy. Like, oh, you're gonna die, and he's like, well, unless you stay at the hospital and we find a cure, you're gonna die. And he's like, well, I'm just gonna go kill him. I got 24 hours. But then
There you go.
the guy's got an antidote. Thank God. They're fighting on a boat at the end because the guy tries to escape in a speedboat, but it's not like a speedboat. It's like a little James Bond like submarine boat thing that he tries to get away on, and Hogan jumps on it. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Look, I will say this. We've officially spent way too much time talking about Assault on Devil's Island.
It's so good, though. I love it.
We have a 3-hour Nitro we have to cover. We got to make up time.
Then why don't you talk to me about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff talking about Assault on Devil's Island?
I will. Hogan and Bischoff blow each other in the ring. Hogan says Piper is dying in the hospital. Damn. Hogan calls himself God. Who knew God could die? Anyways, gang, Bischoff says TNT will soon be called HNT, Hogan Network Television. That's basically it. That's the whole thing. But it actually is really important that Hogan calls himself God because he's not joking. He genuinely is calling himself God. Mm-hmm. That's how massive this dude's ego's gotten. He gave us D. It's not good.
After that, we get more clips from Halloween Havoc. We've got some clips from the Lex Luger Scott Hall match, which is really there to show us that Larry Zbyszko was involved and why he's not with us tonight. He's not on commentary tonight because of something that happened at Halloween Havoc, which you can find out if you join the Patreon.
$2 a month.
$2. Wow. What a salesman. After that, we got our Cruiserweight Championship match. Rey Mysterio and Dino Malenko. Tell me about it, Joseph.
Raven's flock comes down. Raven, Perry Saturn, Billy Kidman, and Sick Boy. That's the current members of the flock. A great match sees Rey reverse a Texas Cloverleaf into a pin, a rare sight at this point, because Texas Cloverleaf doesn't really get reversed that way. I give this a B+. It's a very solid match. There's no storyline in here. Raven's flock doesn't do anything during this match. It's just a really fun TV match. This is the kind of like Cruiserweight Nitro stuff that we come to expect. It's really good.
4 minutes, 30 seconds on that one. And then that leads us into our next topic, which is the Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors Mike Tenay segments, which I actually quite enjoy because I'm learning about Lucha Libre. And it's actually really informative. This one is about how, Lucha Libre is very family oriented, very generational, and how a lot of the current crop of wrestlers are descendants of previous luchadors. They talk about the Dianos and Lizmark and Hoovy, a bunch of guys, and El Hijo de Santo, which interestingly enough means the son of somebody. So imagine that. Hector Garza, I think, is talked about in there.
You got me so bad on that. I was like, oh, he's going to give the son of somebody. My God. The son of I think, and he knows what he's doing. Just the biggest, most important fucking luchador of all time.
I don't speak Spanish, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, you got anything more to add?
No, I love these. These are great. Everything you just said is true. They're fantastic.
After that, though, we got the Nitro Girls. And they're in sexy costumes because
it's probably
our Halloween.
Yeah,
I guess it's technically our Halloween episode because it'll be after Halloween, but for the next one. So this is their Halloween episode. After that, we get La Parka versus Glacier. La Parka good, though. Tell me about this 4-minute match, Joseph.
I actually think Glacier actually looks good here, but it's just too late. It's way too late. Yeah. Glacier wins. The crowd goes mild. Get to see.
And then we get Mean Gene with DDP. And this is all about what happened at Halloween Havoc. So, Joseph, I know you get upset when I tell too much about what happened down the Patreon. So I'm going to let you tell us. You say as much or as little as you like.
Gets a B. No, I was joking. DDP bypasses Gene, heads straight to the ring, which is not really common practice. Everybody stops the ramp with Gene. Gene does follow him and asks about his perspective on last night. DDP says it wasn't Sting last night, but instead Hogan, and he accepts Hogan's challenge from earlier in the night. Hogan said he'll challenge anybody in the locker room. And at Halloween Havoc, in DDP's match, a fake Sting came out and betrayed DDP, but it was a fake Sting. We all knew it was fake Sting. It was fucking obvious. They've been doing this way too many times. They've gone to this well way too many times. Anyways, he mentions that Hogan has whacked him with the belt and a bat. Well, I think it's time I whack you with something. Bang! So they're gonna fuck, I guess. Anyways, gets a B from me.
I'd watch that.
No, because then Hogan would use the hard JR.
Oh, yes, JR. That reference, for those of you who aren't avid followers of wrestling, there was a bit of a scandal last week, I think it was.
I think so, yeah.
The Dudley brothers, they have officially retired, Bubba Ray and Devon, so I think they feel a little bit more open of talking about their wrestling experiences. And Devon spoke candidly about racism that he experienced in the WWF and alluded very strongly, he didn't say it, but it was alluded to very strongly, that it was Jim Ross who was the source of this racism, which shocked Joseph and I to our cores, because we love JR. And now that we find out that JR might be racist, I'm still refusing to accept it. Joseph has accepted it.
Well, what I said was this.
It's troubling.
What I said was
it's troubling.
It is telling that no one has come out and defended him. That's what I've said.
Yeah.
Because Maven also made, they were being interviewed by Maven. Maven made the reference "Go Sooners," which is a clear JR reference. And Devon said, "Don't have a 10-gallon hat." That's JR. And then the only person I've seen who said something, and that's the time of this recording, there may have been somebody else who's come out. Actually, it's not true. There's now two people. One was R-Truth many years ago, who talked about JR saying this is still a white man's sport, which I will say in the context of that conversation could have been him saying you have an uphill battle, or it could have been him warning, hey, this ain't for you. I don't know.
You're not real welcome here.
Yeah, I don't know which one that was. You could take it both ways. Just the way our truth delivers it wasn't like crazy offended, but just kind of like that's what happened. Anyways, and then Booker T came out, and what Booker T basically said, I'm paraphrasing here. He said that he never experienced any of this kind of stuff from JR. JR was always very nice to him. However, he also 100% believes Devon. So,
yeah,
not really helping the case. So that's my point, is the fact that no one has come out and avidly been like, this is crap. JR was not that way. That's more telling. The silence is deafening.
Yeah, because you brought up the point that when Ahmed Johnson tried to bury Stone Cold, calling him a racist, just everyone came out and said, no way. Mark Henry, Farouk, everybody was like, dude's not a racist.
Yeah.
So
Ahmed
we
Johnson
haven't seen
was
that.
the problem. Yeah.
Well, after that, though, we go to commercial and we come back and we get a Mean Gene twofer, because we got another interview with Mean Gene. And this time we've got the living legend, Larry Zbyszko. He is back. He is here. He's got his Monday Night Nitro polo on. He wears it so well.
Oh, yeah.
And he has had enough of Scotty Hall, hasn't he, Joseph?
Absolutely. Gene says he respects Zbyszko, but did he pay the price at Halloween Havoc? Zbyszko says Hall couldn't take the pressure, and he has had it with Scott Hall. He has a contract for a one-on-one match between the two of them, and then Hall comes out. He tells Zbyszko that everyone has already seen what he can do in the ring, and it isn't good enough to face him. He tells him that Larry can't even beat Bischoff. This is because Bischoff's ego is so big that Bischoff beat down Larry Zbyszko at Halloween Havoc, and it was bad. Hall denies the request for the match, and the segment ends with Zbyszko furious. Gets a B for me. I do actually like Zbyszko and Hall. I like what they're doing together, and surely the payoff won't be bad. Anyways.
Don't call me Shirley. Nitro Girls! And they talk about the Nitro parties because that's replaced Lee Marshall, and I'm done with that. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Lex Luger and Stevie Ray for like 5 minutes, 40 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I timed it at.
Stevie Ray is back momentarily from an injury, but he was never going to win this one. He loses to the Rack. Gets a C from me.
Well, all right. Well, that was easy. I hadn't even read my next note. But we got a Raven promo, and now he's sitting in a tree, a very lush tree, in what looks like a very nice suburban neighborhood.
Yes.
Talking about how awful his life was. Tell me about it, Joseph.
Your notes are essentially mine. I said he talks about darkness or something. Gets D. So I don't get. Look, at some point we need to go back and watch ECW to understand the love of Raven, because the way WCW has presented them. If this is how, I'm not an ECW guy. I don't dislike it. I'm just not well versed in it. I just never have been. I've never spent the time to go back and watch it. So if this is how he was presenting ECW, and I highly doubt it because Paul Heyman's a goddamn genius.
Yes.
Then Raven has never been a very good character.
Oh.
Because the way he's depicted in WCW is horseshit. Like, it is so bad. Just him bitching and moaning about two parents who clearly loved him and gave him what he needed to survive in this life. It is wild. It is wild. He's got this dude's practically in a treehouse. Like, what the fuck? It's so bad.
Yeah, nice white. I think there's like a white picket fence in the background too. It's like, it's the most cliche, nice suburban neighborhood you've ever seen. He doesn't have an unkind word to say about, like, it's not like, I don't think in any of these he's ever accused like his parents of abuse or anything, right? It's just like, oh, woe is me, the darkness.
Yeah.
And
it would be one thing if he was like, everything you see here is a mask for reality. Right?
Yeah.
Then I could get behind this. But instead, it's just, and then I realized how two-faced everyone was. Why? What did they do? What led you to that discovery? That's it.
He probably has really nice parents, and he's like, no, I don't want to say anything negative about my parents, right? Like, he knows this is the story, but he's like, so I'm just going to say, and then they turn two-faced. Well, how? I don't.
Yeah.
My parents were really nice to talk about it. Anyway, hour number 2 of 3. And to be fair, we start out hour number 2. It gets hot, and I'm looking. It's the first 2 matches in hour number 2. Pretty hot. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, 5 minutes. Gotta be good.
It is. It's a very fun match. But Jericho is unfortunately sliding further and further down the card. He loses to Eddie with a frog splash to his back, and I gave this one a B. It's, again, very much like the Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko match. This is the kind of cruiserweight match we want to see.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. But what I also enjoyed was the Nitro Girls have a website now, and they have a photo gallery. You sick perverts. But yes. But yes, apparently now they have a there's a Nitro Girl specific website with a photo gallery. I think they're trying to pull a Sunny and blow up the internet. So so there you go. Probably does not exist anymore, but it did. You know, some of our listeners are gonna see if it still exists. You sickos. We love you though. We do love you.
Absolutely.
Not to change the subject, but I was going to say, speaking of sickos, and I thought, I shouldn't do it. But I did it because I said but I didn't. Chris Benoit versus Fit Finley for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You heavily implied it. Yes, absolutely. Given the two competitors, this is a very physical match. Benoit wins it with a diving headbutt, and my God, it will always be the most gorgeous and scary looking move ever. I gave it a B. It's another solid match. Like you said, we've opened up hour number 2 pretty hot for hour number 2.
Yeah. Well, it goes downhill from here.
Yes.
Because after that, we get shown some stills from the Kurt Hennig Ric Flair match at Halloween Havoc, and that leads us to Mean Gene interviewing Ric Flair. And Ric Flair is nuts, and I kind of love it because we get a lot of the all-time bang. You don't love it.
I don't love this promo at all.
We get some bangers from Ric Flair, but I hate this rivalry, so that's why I don't like it. Tell me what you think, and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong.
All right, Flair says, if you've missed me, imagine what it was like sitting home watching Hogan and Hennig parade around. He was gone 2 fucking weeks. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He says he drew blood from Hennig, but didn't end his career. If he sees him, he's a dead man. He says Hogan will take the diamond cutter, and then he, being Flair, will beat Savage, who apparently he's facing tonight. He says, in a reference to Mach, drugs? No. Violence? Yes. Sex? Yes. So hold on. So they're going to participate in BDSM together, but drew the line at drugs.
And we know Rick ain't drawing the line at drugs.
No,
so
I don't think either of them are.
Yeah.
What is this? I gave this a D. It's bad.
You say you don't like it, and you just quote the banger line where he yells,
It's
drugs?
funny, but not good.
Drugs? No. Violence? Yes. Sex? Yes. But with Miss Elizabeth, he's got to clarify. It's not with Macho. The sex isn't with Macho. He clarifies. It's going to be crazy.
Nah.
These are words that come out of his mouth. It is insane. It is insane. He's simultaneously talking about how he's gonna beat the crap out of the Macho Man and let Miss Elizabeth take a ride on Space Mountain. He's crazed. I loved it. But I don't like this rivalry, and I don't like that he was dead and then came back in a week. After that, it goes really downhill because we get our in-ring debut of Raven versus Scotty Riggs.
Yes. Stevie Richards. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like a minute. It's like a minute.
Yeah.
The match.
So Stevie Richards comes down during this, and he says the only way, which by the way, Stevie Richards back in the flock. Okay. The only way that Raven will wrestle is if Nick Patrick makes this a no DQ match. They are playing on the ECW thing, out saying ECW or saying hardcore. Those are the two things they are
Raven's
staying away
rules.
from. Yes. Riggs agrees. He's like, yeah, let's do it. Raven says there's no need to fight Riggs, who hasn't won in 6 months, and tells Scotty Riggs to join his flock so he can set him free. Riggs gives an FU to Raven. We quickly get a spot where Raven drop toe holds Riggs, who lands on a chair eye first and cannot compete for the rest of the match. I gave this a D.
Yeah, I mean, there is a story behind this, right? They've kind of been actively trying to recruit Scotty Riggs. They've had a couple of segments with him and them kind of feuding about it when he comes out to the ring to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
This is the match where Scotty Riggs, air quote, loses his eye, and he gets a patch and he joins the flock, but not quite yet. But what we do have right now is Nitro Girls. You laugh every time, so I do it. Hulk Hogan versus DDP, which gets Michael Buffer out. And this isn't even the main event because we have another hour.
Yes.
Tell me about this 11.5-minute match.
Oh man. My first thing is this isn't the main event, but Michael Buffer announces it. This might be, you know what? I will say this. This might be the best match that Hogan has put on in a long time, and I think it's all because of DDP. Anyways, until DDP dodges the leg drop and sets up a diamond cutter only for fake Sting to run in and cause DQ, and the NWO attack. Then real Sting eventually walks down. Scorpion Death drops Vincent. Then Sting manhandles everyone except for Hogan. Hall gets death dropped, as does Hennig, and we head to commercial. So I was honestly enjoying this match up until the shenanigans. I'm giving this a C.
Honestly, I think this is a good way to end the night. Like, if this is
Yeah.
how it ended, this would have been pretty good. I wonder, I actually wonder if they got told last minute they were going to 3 hours this week. Because it's kind of been random, right? Like, some weeks it's 3 hours, some weeks it's not. Because this seems like this is where it should end. And then the matches in hour number 3 are just kind of thrown together. There's no storylines to any of them. So
Yeah, they're
I
bad.
think this is where it was supposed to end, and it didn't. Because we get hour number 3, and we start with Disco Inferno versus Bill Goldberg for the WCW World Television Championship, and Goldberg's on his streak, so we've got a new TV champion, right, Joseph?
Well, they don't know it's a streak yet. They haven't really been calling it the streak. Alex Wright attacks Goldberg, who jackhammers him. Goldberg then spears and jackhammers Disco. The match never started, and Mongo attacks Goldberg, and the two men brawl. Why not just put the title on Goldberg here and then let the feud be about the belt?
With Mongo?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love that.
Why not just do that? Instead, we get a no contest. This gets a D. Hate it. And you know I love me some Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of know he's on the streak. He's doing the who's next thing already.
Excuse me. I do love Bill Goldberg, but I will say he being a bitch about Asuka.
Oh, that's true. That is true. That some girl broke his
Girl,
streak.
don't you disrespect Asuka like that. Like, I like
She's
Bill
pretty
Goldberg,
good, bro.
but Asuka 10,000 times the wrestler Bill Goldberg ever was. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
don't be doing that shit.
Bret Hart's anger aside, he ain't really wrong that Bill Goldberg was not a great wrestler.
Yes, absolutely. But Bret Hart's just a big old bitch ass. Yeah.
Every Goldberg match is no selling, spear, jackhammer, pin.
And we love it.
Which we love.
It's really good.
We love it.
Yeah.
But that don't make you a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then after that, we get more Hulk Hogan and more Eric Bischoff.
Oh, this is where it is. Okay.
Yes. This is where we talk about the Assault on Devil's Island debut and the contract signing and all of that. You've already kind of talked about it, but do you have anything more to add?
Look, Bischoff and Hogan come out sour. We still have 30 minutes left in this program, so God help us. Hogan calls Sting a coward, yada, yada. He tells Sting if he wants the match with him, he needs to show up in Vegas at the premiere of his new film and sign a contract there. This actually accomplished something, so I don't completely hate it. However, it's also just not being done it's also just being done so they can convince fans to watch shitty ass movie Hogan is in. It gets a C from me. It does have a point. It's still bad.
Speaking of that, let's talk about the movie for another 20 minutes. No, I'm kidding. No, I think you were right, though, in your previous point that it was smart for TNT to do the contract signing during the movie, because that's the only reason people watched. Because you shouldn't watch it. After that, we get another match that doesn't really make any sense. It's the tag team champions versus Public Enemy, the Steiner brothers, I guess I should specify, versus Public Enemy. And Joseph, tell me, is there a table? 7 minutes, 10 seconds.
I don't remember if there is in this one. Mean Gene interviews the Steiners, who says they're on a roll. Scott says it's been a tough year for them, but they want to thank the fans for believing in them. He also thanks the NWO for coming up with the Wolfpack rules because they beat them in their own game, and Rick describes it as too sweet. I should say Wolfpack rules are just the Freebird rules. How dare you disrespect the Freebirds? Anyways, DiBiase says he's happy for the Steiners who gave him the chance to prove himself as trustworthy. He announces open contracts for any tag teams that want a shot. Then Public Enemy comes out. This is a lengthy match, but the Steiners win as we kind of expected them to. However, it will set up another match next week that's bad. Anyways, this one gets to see.
And no table.
Yes,
for
no
reference. Table. I take notes on whether or not there's a table. That's the only thing I care about in Public Enemy matches. After that, we get Curt Hennig versus Booker T for the WCW United States Championship, which I like.
Also
Booker
not
T.
the main event.
Also not the main event. Think they should put a title on him, but there's no storyline going into this. So what's up? Tell me about it, Joseph. 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Miss Elizabeth comes down ringside mid-match, distracts the ref. Then Randy Savage elbows Booker T. Flair attacks Hennig, resulting in a DQ. Flair chases Hennig off. I gave this a C because it was pretty good up until this point, and then it kind of goes to pandemonium, and that goes literally right into Savage versus Flair. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go right into that. Savage and Flair are fighting on the ramp through the crowd. The match never starts. They just brawl. Is this a no DQ match? We don't really know. They get plenty of screen time like it is. Eventually, Curt Hennig attacks Flair, and Flair focuses him when Savage hits him with the U.S. title, and then they gang up on him. This, by the way, results in a DQ, not the 15 minutes of crap that we had leading up to this, where they were just all around the ring. Just this. What the hell was this main event? I gave this a D. I hated it.
Yes, 7.5 minutes of a match. Sting does sign the contract in Vegas, and we go to Raw, which is in the Tulsa Convention Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where Jim Ross is from.
Woo, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
And speaking of Jim Ross, we got Vince, we got Jim, and we got no Jerry tonight. And you thought Jerry was the problem. I tell you. And we start with the Nation of Domination. And they're here to get mad about who vandalized their locker room last week. And
yes.
I'm watching every Nation segment very closely because, as you remember, they are accused of being a criminal element in WWF, which I have yet to see. And I'm kind of thinking it's just because they're black. And I want to see if there's a storyline coming up to the pay-per-view that proves me wrong, and I'm not seeing it. I'm a little worried, Joseph. Tell me about this segment.
We are playing up that someone is racist and outwardly racist towards the Nation, and given new reports, it may have been Jim Ross the whole time. Vince says they asked for the opportunity to speak, and Farouk says, no, we asked for the opportunity to ask you to address why is there racism in the WWF when you said there wasn't. Again, kind of right. Vince backpedals and apologizes on behalf of the WWF. Farouk says, do you think you can apologize for 400 years? The crowd boos Farouk, which is wild. Vince doesn't want to talk about racism. That's true. And he wants to talk to Rocky instead, who grabs the mic from him. Rocky is wearing a giant R shirt that JR probably thinks is a hard R. They kick out Vin Man, and Rocky antagonizes the crowd, then says, they kick out Vin Man, and then Rocky antagonizes the crowd, and then says the Hart Foundation crossed the line, making this a black and white thing. He tells the Harts when he kicks their asses, when they kicks their asses down, they won't get back up. Farouk says it started with a boat ride, but tells the Harts it's going to end with a black fist on the side of their white ass. They challenge the Harts to a match next week. The Harts come out. Brett accepts, but says there is no racial prejudice in Canada. This is false. Brett says this was actually HBK and Triple H who did it. HBK shows up on the Titantron, says, how dare you? This is going to get real wild. If you thought it was wild before, it gets worse.
Yes.
HBK says, how dare you blame D-Generation X for your actions? He calls Brett the Grand Wizard. Oh my God. He says he
Yes.
agrees with the nation that this country was built on the sweat of the brow of the black man. D-Generation X accepts that. And by the way, when he says this, the nation starts agreeing and like really happy about it, which I'm like, I agree with the sentiment. However, they're clearly playing this like the racism came from DX, which is all going to blow up in a week or so anyways. But this is all bad. This is all bad. Anyways, he says, but the Grand Wizard and the rest of his KKK buddies don't believe that. What is going on? He says Brett is concerned with his image, and Triple H says, I heard your first choice instead of a leather jacket was white sheets and white hoods. They say
Yes.
Brett was a KKK guy, was the KKK guy on Jerry Springer. That's actually a topical thing that happened on Jerry Springer. They even make fun of it in one of the Austin Powers films. Triple H says that while they were changing paint cans, while they were spraying the room, they used the N-word, and the nation loses their shit. Now, to be clear, he does not say the N-word. He just says literally the N-word.
That's how he says it. N-word, yeah.
Yeah. The nation loses their shit. They attack the Hearts because of this. This is weird because it's absurd. It's bad. It shouldn't happen, but it's kind of charming. I don't know how, but it is. I gave this a very cringy B. I don't know why I like this segment.
It's nuts.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole point that you're supposed to get out of this is that DX did it and they're trying to pin it on the Hart Foundation, right? There was spray paint. There was Canadian flags left in the locker room. It was very obviously a plant. DX is clearly the culprit, but it's very in that way, it's very silly and tongue in cheek. It's nuts. And I can't believe Brett was okay with being called the Grand Wizard of the KKK and racist to the core. Could lead to some, maybe this is what led to some developments later on in a couple of weeks. But this is nuts. Almost as nuts as the fact that Bret Hart is going to be on Mad TV. They show an ad.
What I think funny. I think Bret Hart.
Yes. Yeah. They show an ad that Bret Hart is going to be on Mad TV, and one of the actors does Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage impersonations in the ad. And it's kind of like, oh, you don't know that they're not here anymore. Anyways, I actually watched this Mad TV, and here's my 20-minute review of it. No, they understand that Bret Hart is not funny, and they use him in not funny like roles. Like one of them is that he's like, they're doing a skit and he's like the bailiff, but he's a wrestler. He's Bret Hart, and like in a courtroom, and he's supposed to like manhandle someone a bit. Oh wow. Wow. But he throws them too hard. He throws them too hard, and then they pretend like that wasn't part of the show, that he doesn't know how to be gentle with people. And that's the joke. It's stuff like that. You don't need to watch it. Anyways, what you do need to watch is Triple H versus Goldust for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. No, wait, that's wrong. I'm looking at the wrong time. 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
You had one job.
Yeah, I scrolled up accidentally.
Rick Rude introduces Triple H, calling him the cornerstone of DX and the future of the WWF, right on both counts. HBK joins commentary and is all over the place. Marlena eventually slaps Triple H a number of times while referee Tim White is distracted. Chyna hits Goldust with Marlena's loaded purse. Triple H hits the pedigree for the win. HBK tells commentary to suck it. They bleep it out. Gets a B. It's a fun match.
And then Sean jumps up on the announce table and tells Vince to suck it, and Vince is appalled. It's just absolutely disgusting.
I love when you're not listening to me because I totally said that.
Yeah. Did you say that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You go so fast. I'm reading my notes. Did you talk about Jim Cornette's commentary hour?
We have not done that yet.
Well, then let's talk about that, Mr. I ain't talked about that. Jim Cornette is here, who apparently his job is now just to insult other people in wrestling
Yes.
because he talks about how Hollywood Hogan and
Which is
Rowdy
kind of
Roddy
his real
Piper have
job nowadays.
fair. And I think he's well compensated. And frankly, he's not wrong about this because he's
Yes, I
talking
agree.
about how dare WCW call their cage match the best one ever when we just had Hell in a Cell with Shawn and Taker, which is much better.
So much in this. There's so much in this.
Yeah.
So real quickly, this is going to get a bad grade because I think the problem with these segments is that I agree with a lot of what he's saying. This just is the wrong platform for him. Anyways.
And they're petty.
Yes. Today's feature is about everyone calling themselves the icon of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He calls out Hogan and Piper and HBK and Bret Hart and Randy Savage. So includes WWF members, not just WCW, which I actually did kind of like. Yeah. Cornette says that HBK is the most gifted athlete in wrestling today in the ring. But out of the ring, he's an adolescent jerk who takes his tights and goes home if he doesn't get his way. Okay.
He's shooting.
Oh,
Cornette don't like him. He's shooting.
Oh, yeah, he's shooting. He says, Bret Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But if he had been screwed as many times as he claims, he'd have struck oil by now. My God. Look, I feel the same way I feel about it with my boy, Shawn Michaels. What are we doing here? What are we doing? He says Savage is a legend, but how many records did Frank Sinatra sell last year? This was a swing and miss. This one was... I think I get what you were going for there, but it wasn't that great. I think the problem with Savage is so goddamn good and such an icon that it's hard to find a way to insult him. Anyways, he says the pinnacle of this icon garbage came in last night's cage match between Hogan and Piper. WCW had the gall to call this the greatest cage match in history when it was only the greatest in 3 weeks since Hell in a Cell. He says you have a 46-year-old creepy uncle with a good build wrestling a guy with an artificial hip who hasn't wrestled a full schedule in 10 years. He says by the 10-minute mark, they were sucking wind so bad the first 3 rows were passing out from oxygen deprivation. He calls Hulk Hogan 50% media hype in his best years. He says the true icon is someone who is incredible in the ring and mature out of the ring. So, I'm checking my notes, not a damn person. He says...
Anybody? Does he name names?
He does. He says The Undertaker, Steve Austin, and Ric Flair are candidates for this. Now, if we are going off the metric he listed earlier, which is that you have to be incredible in the ring and mature out of the ring, then literally none of those 3 guys fits the bill. I'm sorry. It's just
not even Taker?
Taker has his skeletons too. I'm not saying that they aren't icons. I'm not saying that they aren't more respected people in the industry. Flair, definitely not. But if your measurement is those 2 things, I'm sorry, even Taker, who's very close, doesn't fit the bill because Taker did petty shit too. It's just a reality. So that's my whole point is like, this doesn't make any sense. Your metric is completely off. It doesn't work. He does call Hogan garbage though, and that I agree with. I gave this a D. I like the ideas of these. They're just not supposed to be here. I agree. Let's move on, Scott. Let's talk about Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg. I mean, if you can do it to me, I can do it to you.
Anyways, I applaud it.
After that, I kind of like that they're doing this when they're going to places. They have this, they had this ceremony earlier in the night for Oklahoma legends. Bill Watts was there. Jack and Jerry Briscoe. Oh my God. You don't care about icons of wrestling, like
the funny thing
and,
about this is that like
50%
of the ones that they named, they've named in other cities like St. Louis.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
well, this is where they're from. And that's where they were famous wrestlers. It's different. Jim Ross was in it too, though, which you totally trampled over my joke. But we'll move on because you ruined it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because we got our WWF Intercontinental Champion Owen Hart versus Ahmed Johnson. And Ahmed, he's losing it, man. 6 minutes, 17 seconds.
Ahmed is blown up about 3 seconds into this match. Ahmed kicks the Canadian flag. The Nation come down because they're feuding with everyone for some reason. Owen repeatedly slams Ahmed's injured hand into the steel steps. Ahmed hits the worst spine buster and then gets stunned by Austin out of nowhere for the DQ. I gave this a C.
Yeah, why? I don't know. Anyways, after that, we get Jim Ross interviewing Mankind because they want to talk about Kane and where Dude Love went. Joseph, I assume you liked this segment.
I did like this.
Good.
JR shows Mankind what happened to Dude Love from Kane. Mankind says that Dude Love just wanted to make people smile and have fun. What Paul Bearer did was take an innocent kid and ruined him, leaving Mankind to pick up the pieces. He tells Uncle Paul, which is how he used to refer to him back when he and Bearer were aligned, that what disturbs him is that they parted ways without any bad feelings. You don't bother me, I don't bother you. But Bearer bothered him by doing what he did to Dude Love last week. So now he must make Bearer's life a living hell. So he tells him that Kane will not roll over him. He will take on Kane or die trying. Slaughter comes down and says that Mankind's unstable mental condition and Kane's irrationality will not allow him to sanction this match. And Mankind says, "What if I said please?" Slaughter denies the request regardless. Mankind hates to hear that Slaughter is standing in the way. He has horrible things planned for Kane. So now something very bad must happen to you. And he locks in the mandible claw on Sergeant Slaughter as we head to commercial. I love this. Mick Foley, don't miss, gets an A from me.
And then, in another weirdly timed booking decision, we've got the WWF Championship on the line in the middle of the night. Bret Hart versus Ken Shamrock for 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Why isn't this the main event? Tell me, Joseph.
Yeah, I agree with that. We criticized WCW for it. We should criticize WWF. This is a pretty pure TV match, however. Shamrock locks in the ankle lock, and Bret taps, but Earl Hebner is knocked out. Bret grabs a steel chair and slams Shamrock in the back. He locks in the sharpshooter, but HBK runs in and hits Future Music, then punches him. Shamrock snaps on HBK, then he snaps on WWF officials. The match gets thrown out. Eventually, HBK and Hart get back up, and then those two go at it and have to be separated. We go to commercial, and we come back to Bret Hart backstage saying that this is all leading to Montreal. He says after Survivor Series, he won't have to worry about Shawn Michaels anymore. Well, it doesn't work out that way for Bret, but we'll get there. Anyways, I gave this a B. I do like this segment.
After that, Bret goes backstage. I'm kidding. Following that, we get... That was it. So we got our next match. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn versus the New Blackjacks. And again, I like Road Dogg. I like Billy Gunn. But again, I ask, how is this higher up on the card than the WWF Championship match? I don't know. 2 minutes, 5 seconds.
Yeah, the back half of this gets booked weird. It does.
Yes.
Road Dogg hypes up their team, but they still have no music. During the match, Vin Man lets us know that Gorilla Monsoon is at a hospital and very, very ill. He will not die just yet, but he is very close to it. Billy Gunn uses a chair on Bradshaw, and Road Dogg gets the win. Godwins and Headbangers come out, as one of the Survivor Series matchups is the New Age Outlaws, which they're not called that yet, and the Godwins versus the Headbangers and the New Blackjacks. They're trying to push that forward. I get it. It's way too late. None of these teams are really feuding with each other. I don't like that for a Survivor Series matchup, but the match itself is fine. Gave it a C.
Yeah, during the match, they zoom in on a guy with a Hulk Hogan shirt on, and he has a sign that says "We'll wrestle for food." And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, calm down. They've been bashing the dude all night. It's like, just get over it. After that, though, Kane and Paul Bearer come out, and they want to talk to Jim Ross about everything that's going on. Mankind wants to wrestle Kane at Survivor Series. Tell me, Joseph, do we get our match?
Let's see. Bearer tells Vin Man to keep his nose out of his business. He calls Mankind a pebble on Kane's path to destruction. Kane is here to make Taker's life a living hell. He says Taker has no clue what living hell is, but Kane does for burning in hell's fire. He then goes on to say that they're coming for Taker. So we really don't get an explanation. I gave us a B. It's fine. Again, kind of weirdly booked. I would have put this earlier, but that's all right.
Yeah, then we go to DX's locker room, and apparently Sean's got some beef with Bret Hart.
Yeah,
What's
that's
that all
wild.
about? I haven't heard anything about this.
Vin Man asks if DX wants to talk about Survivor Series. Rick Rude says HBK wants to only speak to Bret Hart. Now, at this point, Sean is sitting down, no shirt, and Triple H is sitting down. Chyna's standing behind Sean over here. Rick Rude standing behind Sean over here this way. And then Sean stands up. He pulls down his pants to show his ass to Bret Hart, but Triple H and Chyna cover it up with a D-Generation X sign. They have two signs. They're covering it up. And they're not doing a good job because Sean is dancing up and down, and they're dropping the sign intentionally to show his ass. And Vince is clearly not happy about it. And this is one of the iconic DX moments, actually. And it's one of the things that gets them in trouble at USA. And we haven't done the DX State of the Union address, but it's coming. It is coming this year, so it's coming in the next few weeks for sure. Yeah, I gave this a B. I liked it, but it is like there's no story here. It's just them being literally cheeky.
Waggity smaggity doo. After that, we got Mark Marrow and Flash Funk for 3 minutes and 45 seconds. What?
Yep.
Tell me, Joseph.
A simple match sees Marrow win with the TKO. Gets a C from me.
All right. And then that brings us to a sit-down interview with Jeff Jarrett. JR has a sit-down with Jeff Jarrett. Apparently, this is a two-parter, if I recall, or at least more than one part. And tell me about it, Joseph. What'd you think?
Yeah, this is really funny because the second part's supposed to happen next week, but it never does, and they end up pushing it to like their Saturday show. JR asks, why did Jeff Jarrett leave WWF when they made him a star? Jarrett blames Vince's vision of Double J Jeff Jarrett. He says it was limiting. He calls walking out on Vince one of the best nights of his life. Ross asks about WCW. Jarrett says WCW had no ladder of opportunity. And if you weren't one of Bischoff's boys, you don't get the spotlight. This is objectively true. It is. JR asks the differences in WWF and WCW. And Jarrett says WWF is action from bell to bell at arena shows. WCW is less excitement, and their top 6 to 8 wrestlers are all over 40. This isn't necessary, and next week we get more, but we don't really, kind of. We do, just a different day. Gave it a D.
Yeah. And as you said, they'll air part 2 next week, but they won't.
Yeah.
But they won't. And that brings us to our main event.
Yes.
Not Bret Hart and Ken Shamrock for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. No, we get the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Legion of Doom, versus Los Boricuas in a non-title match for 2 minutes and 49 seconds. This is your main event. Joseph, tell me about this main event.
The not yet named New Age Outlaws join commentary. Boricuas cut a promo that is a mess all over. The New Age Outlaws steal LOD spike pads and wear them and goof off in them. Road Dogg trips Los Boricuas on accident, thinking it's one of the members of LOD, and LOD gets the win because of it. LOD sees them in their spikes and chases the New Age Outlaws up the ramp, which I love. That is fantastic work from New Age. New Age Outlaws are like teenagers. This is perfect. It's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I do enjoy this. I gave it a B. I like the direction it's going. Is it an A-worthy thing? No, not at all. But I do like the storyline where it's going.
And then we go to Ahmed Johnson to end the night because we had to end on a high note. And Ahmed, who still seems out of breath from his match an hour ago, tells us that Austin has gotten into his space and he better look out.
I hate this. So Ahmed says that Austin entered his zone, is what he describes it as. So Ahmed is not only stealing moves because he stole the Michinoku driver from Taka Michinoku a few weeks ago. Now he's stealing Shamrock's in the zone gimmick. Both those things have happened in multiple weeks. He says he's coming to get Austin next Monday. This promo is bad. Just cut the cord already. I gave this a D, and I don't even think he gets Austin next week.
I can check real quick. Let's see. Is there an Ahmed match with Steve Austin? No, there is not. So there you go. There you have it. Who won?
So look, WWF won, but both shows suffer from the same problem, which is they are booked in the wrong fucking order. It makes no sense. We criticize WCW for it. WWF absolutely is, this is a problem for them too. But WWF has more interesting things going on, and WCW doesn't. So I'm kind of begrudgingly giving. I'd like WCW to be good because I'd like to give them a win. I was enjoying giving them wins, over a year ago, and now I'm not. So
yeah, the first 2 hours of Nitro I thought were not bad. The third hour just seemed like a mess, just like a late booking mess that just dragged, much like this podcast. And Raw, while kind of a mess, has better storylines, and I was more entertained. So I gotta agree with you. It is WWF Raw this week. It pains me every time because I was the WCW guy, and then they broke my heart.
Yeah.
So, and then they'll break Bret Hart, but that comes later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
That was a good one.